Apparently, Drake has an interview where he opens up about Kanye and Pusha T.
Oh yeah,
I didn't watch that.
I saw that, but I didn't want to. See, I ain't even get there. I ain't even go there.
That's some good shit.
Here we go. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding down over here at StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, coming with another wonderful episode. Of course, lounging to my left is the bomb internet. Yo, look, yo,
it's that couch dancing.
Marqueeda LaStar, what's up?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing this Sunday morning? Sorry we run on CBT today, but you know, super. You know, it's just a lot going on. We out here in these streets trying to collect what's going on and get it back to y'all and let you know what we think about it.
This how we do.
You know, we out here grinding as always.
Grinding.
Paper soldiers.
Shining. Every single morning, check the rollie with the diamonds. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Dom Kennedy, who also watches the show. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody who's already in the chat. Thank you for checking us out. Hit that thumbs up. If you hit that thumbs down, I'm going to send Brett Kavanaugh to see you. But don't worry about it because I'm not expecting that to happen. So make sure you share this stream out to all your folks. We're going to get into some Twitter culture, some news, all that fun stuff. But do you want to start on a high or do you want to start on a low? You want to start on low and then go up?
Let's end on the high.
Okay.
Let's get all the shit out of the way.
Okay, cool. So we'll start in a lovely city that you might know as New York. In New York City, of course, in a very specific spot called Flatbush, Brooklyn, there was an incident this Wednesday where a young man was just leaving the store, you know, with his mom and his sister. His book bag brushed up against this lady. She said he grabbed her butt, and then she called the police. Now, I'm going to say her name. Her name is Theresa Klein of Flatbush, Brooklyn. You can find her. She got kind of like long hair. She be wearing glasses all the time.
Oh, what they say she looked like?
Yo, man.
They say she looked like Tyler. What's his name? The lead singer of Aerosmith.
Man.
I forget the other actor's name, but and then when they said it,
so you look like Steve Tyler or whatever.
Steven Tyler with somebody else had a kid, and it was her. And I was like, I think it was Nicolas Cage or something like that. And I was like, it could not be unseen, one said.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Hey yo, all right, check this. So this is just another example of white people using police to enact either a racism or white supremacy, because there is no way that you can mistake a hand grabbing like any part of your butt, your arm, you know, your leg, whatever.
Yeah, because she said
to a book bag sliding across your body.
Yeah, something sliding.
Yeah,
and
it's not the same.
Very different.
It's definitely not the same. And that was used because she wanted to start something. It's even been recorded, and people are like, yo, she be calling the cops all the time.
Well, I didn't hear about that part because I was done when I saw the video. I was like, this chick,
but
she wants somebody to grab her booty, I guess.
But yesterday, the funny thing is, like, she came out trying to fake apology. She tried to clean it up.
It was like the worst apology. She didn't mean it. So if you on her ass in Flatbush, stay on her ass.
Stay on it. You know what I'm saying? We need the neighborhood watch on her all the time.
Stay on that flat ass.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, stay on it. Like, because she impersonated a cop, which she hasn't been brought up on.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I love how big shout out to Pix 11 in New York. What up, Fox 11 in New York? They also watch the show. I love how they cut it where it was like, she said that the other lady said she was a cop, but it was actually her. And then she was like, I wouldn't say I was a cop. Then they played the clip where she was like, I'm a cop. And it came back to her. And she was like, if I said that, I would be surprised. That's another thing.
That was awesome. Like, give us the playback.
That's another thing. The whole I don't recall, that's another thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to just say I don't recall so that, you know, I got this backdoor way out.
They got the mad, like, what do you call it? Amnesia when it comes to these questions.
It's like, oh, I said that. Yeah, you on tape saying it's right here.
And that's what the thing is. They be like, because they'll film you, they'll report you, they'll do all this stuff, and then they act like you can't do it to them. And I feel like I'm upset because that works.
Yo, man, it's sad, but I'm glad that the light was shown on her in a very good way. Wow, really?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to show it to you.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Somebody was like, it hurt them to like make this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't gonna lie, it hurt me to try that.
But it's fresh though. It's fresh. I ain't mad at that. So, once again, guys, just make sure keep your phones ready because imagine this. Back in the 90s, this story would have just flew. Story would have flew. Because there's no guarantee that in the 90s that store would have had a camera. That Super showed his hand on the bag.
Exactly. He was holding stuff in his hand like this, and going this way. And then maybe his backpack, he has this big overstuffed backpack.
That, you know how kids is.
Like, look, and he's such a little boy. Like, he was like a little kid. Yeah. And she just acted out into
You're talking about maybe, what, 6, 7? Maybe?
Exactly.
Maybe younger?
Yeah, 6, 7 probably, because that backpack was pretty big. If he was any younger than that, he would have fell over. Exactly. So there was, they give these kids too much paperwork and not enough instruction. Maybe, I guess. But
that boy's bag was full.
And so to me, if I were to look back and see a little kid behind me, I keep on with my bag.
Oh boy, whatever. It's probably just
exactly. You could put together in my head that was a backpack. You look back, see what touched you, saw a little kid with a backpack going by your bed. What elementary kid is out here grabbing fannies? And again, I feel you can distinguish between the two. One
of the funniest things, and I love New York for this. All of my folks, if y'all watching and y'all in New York, I love y'all for this. There was a part of an interview, and I can't remember what, I don't think it was with Pix 11, I can't remember. But she was like saying, he grabbed me and I felt it and blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, if he didn't, I do apologize for the kid, but this isn't the first time a kid has grabbed my ass. In quotes, right? But the funny thing is, right before the video closes or video ends, you can hear a brother off in the distance, maybe like 10 feet away. He said, "You a goddamn lie." That joke was so funny. That joke had me crying because it was a brother that said that. He like, "You lying? Why you always lying? Why you always lying?"
Somebody got his doing the whole like skit, like, why you always doing it? so we can have like new gifts and shit. Anyway,
and we will do that.
Step in front of her like, why you always lying? But that would have been hilarious. But yeah, it's just more of the same. But
keep your phones ready. That's all I can say. Just
keep them ready.
Keep your phones ready.
Oh my goodness! So they already taking shots at. Let's move on to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
Oh, they want. Look, come on. We can't. You don't want Taylor Swift now already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's just staying like. I don't think she stepped out of her lane with expressing what she was going to do and why she was going to do it. She didn't tell anybody what to do. She was saying, this is what I believe to do. And I think that's like, as far as maybe opening a dialogue, she's very concise. I read the post. I was like, she gonna have people mad at her, but I don't quite understand why y'all too mad at her. She's just there like did she tell you to do something?
Big J in the house, Max Evans, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all right,
so y'all get back at us and tell us exactly why.
Yeah, tell us why.
What did she do to step out of her lane other than express what she's doing?
Tell us why, because
because
I will say this. For black people, usually our stars, our celebrities have to speak for that platform because we don't have a voice. Mm-hmm. I think Taylor Swift saw that the youth, at least young white people, don't really have a voice outside of, earlier what happened in the shooting this year, unfortunately. So to keep that going, she opened up the dialogue saying, hey, you need to register to vote. This is the very last day. This is very serious.
And how is that different from any other vote campaign? P. Diddy did it. Yeah. Also, to at least encourage you to vote. She's not even telling you, like, she does say what she's going to do. So I can
see says what she's going to do.
So I can see how that could be an influence.
Yeah, that could be an influence.
That's definitely influence.
That's the only place where I kind of break with her at, but it's not.
I
She's not overstepping on that.
She's not like even pushing it hard.
Yeah.
She's letting you know what she's going to do. If I feel bold enough to share, because we get polarized over like, us talking about who we voting about and stuff like that. Especially when you got a pop person. I also feel this is a good move for her, but because clearly there were some groups claiming her that I don't think she wants to be associated with. There were some people who are like far right, some
Nazi cats,
and all these different.
There were some people all hype on talking about like she's the Aryan queen and stuff.
And
she was like, "Look, let me
time to help herself out."
Like, she was like, "Look, let me put this to bed."
Coolie High, what's up?
Oh, Coolie High in the house. What up? What up? Shouts to everybody in the chat, of course. Hit that thumbs up. Share this to your folks so we can talk about what went on this week. For Taylor Swift, the ill thing is she got people off their seats.
Right.
She got people to register.
Their voter registrations are like blowing up. I think it's sad that it took that, but I don't care how we get there. We definitely need people to get out and vote. So
True.
If anything, get out and vote. Like however you feel about voting, it ain't gonna hurt you to do it.
Yeah, and
it definitely ain't gonna hurt to do it.
I will say this:
it'll hurt maybe not to do it.
For those who say, "Oh, well, they know who they want to win before they do it," I would lean with you and say I agree on the presidential side, but this is a midterm election, which is all your local folks.
Right.
That's something that we can still heavily influence. As far as
electoral
city council,
to bounce off.
There's no electoral count.
It's one-on-one. If you can get out there and get registered, I know there's some extra difficulties for people who are in some of the southern states. North Carolina's having a hard time.
True.
A few other states in the South, particularly. But even in Ohio, I think, and other Midwestern states, there's been some difficulty because Ohio is doing this whole purging their voter registration list and stuff,
and making people start over.
So you show up, you show up, and of course they didn't notify you yet. You're not on there, so when you show up to vote, it's too late for you to register to vote, of course. And you can't vote. So there's problems in different parts of the country. But if you happen to be in one of these blue states, particularly, you don't really got any excuses. Like California does do a lot to help you vote. They could do more. I really want it to be extra convenient for people to vote. But at the same time, I wish some people had some agency, some initiative, and understood how it's important.
Voting is set up to be restrictive. Honestly, these days, I'm going to keep it real. These days, you know how you log into the DMV to register your car or renew your registration. You can do that same thing to vote. I think you should be able to open the polls on Friday morning and close them Sunday night. Log into DMV, put in your DMV information so they know that you are you. I mean, you are you when you renewing your registration, so it works just fine. You when you pay your personal property tax, so you can be you when you vote. So it's like log in, vote at your leisure from your phone, from your house, whatever, and it's secured. DMV is already a secured site, so there's no excuse. It can be done. They don't want to do it because that opens up the floodgates for more people to be able to vote. They want to make it restrictive because Tuesday is not, Tuesday's usually not an easy day to kind of just be like, oh, well, I'm going to come in early or I'm going to leave late. Or come in early or I'm going to leave early. Or sometimes you don't work in your district, so you can't really do it on lunch. So I usually go before work. And I try to, just figure it out or whatever, but it could be a lot easier. It could be, you could have the whole week where you could drive up and do it. You can do it there's tons of different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
It's in 2018.
There's lots of different ways.
There's a lot of different ways.
But also people need to have more initiative. I feel like you can get all that set up and your voting wouldn't go up much because people just... I don't think so. I mean, I think there's some people who... Because
people still just would be like, whatever.
Do it. I talked to some people and they're like, oh man, if only, and you can almost feel like
they ain't
that
doing
shit could have came to their job and they would have been like, oh, you mean I gotta take time out of my break to go do it?
Yo, you know what? Yo, I'm not mad at a Meals on Wheels style voting. Like they come, they be like, look, we're gonna be at your building between 1
like a day
and 2.
Off you have like a voting day, because that's what some other countries do. That their voting day is like a national federal holiday, and you get it off so you can go vote. So you don't have any excusing. But I think it needs to change the culture, because there's a lot of misinformation about voting, and I feel the longer we don't vote, the less effect it will have. It's almost like you're speaking something into existence.
True.
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
Also, when they send you that like little book of people to vote, stop throwing that away. Right? Look through the book. Look and see what they're doing.
You can always vote absentee. Like even if you're here, you can vote by mail. So there's options.
I'm just telling you guys, the midterm election is the one that counts. It's your school board, your city council, your mayor, what they going to plan to do with the money for the roads or tolls or whatever. Right. See, California, they don't have tolls here, but they got like the speed pass, but like toll roads, parks, all that stuff that you actually do is in the place of toll roads. But it's like all the stuff that you actually do is in the midterm election. Right. Now, of course, the presidential election has the influence, but the midterm has the impact. And it's very important, man. You guys have to vote. And I think Taylor Swift put a lot of people on game.
Well, Max Evans is saying that Taylor Swift's pulpit is dog whistle for those fringe groups. They are right. So by her doing this mobilizes them, and so it's a switch across. Switch.
Okay, so what? All right, so what Max is saying is that Taylor Swift is still like an alt-right chick.
She's mobilizing.
She's pretending to be a Democrat.
She's a double agent.
Yeah, so she's pretending to help the Democrats, but she's really using that. That's a long con. It's true. It could work. Maybe that's her plan. I don't know. I'm just saying.
She's a mastermind. Apparently.
I don't know. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying I don't see her being that maniacal.
But we don't know her.
We don't know.
She watches the show. She watches the show. But
Taylor Swift be watching the show. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think she's behind the computer like. Yes, register. She's not like wearing a doom mask like at the house.
Mad crazy though.
Yo, imagine it like you go in a dark office and like you get like this deep voice and she turns around and it's her with like a cat. It has like a metal arm. It's like, yo man, she could be that evil Mr. X. I don't think so.
Hey, you gotta. I don't know.
What Max still? He's still.
No, I don't know. I'm looking at.
Maybe it's a dog whistle, but I'm gonna take the semi-win with this. With so many people saying kids need to get off their butt and vote. Kids need to be socially engaged. Kids need to get off their phones. Kids need to and then when they do it, then it's an issue. You know what I'm saying? They're getting off their butts. They register to vote. Hopefully they follow through and actually vote. How is this a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? It's like we have more people actually letting the government know what they want instead of sitting back and just complaining about it. Now, there are still things to complain about, but at least they're trying to effect change on the ground level. Seems like a good thing to me, man. Seems like a win. Maybe Taylor's sneaking around, double agenting it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you play a Taylor Swift record backwards, it's like, but I don't do that. I don't think that's happening. So that's all taken care of. Go vote, register to vote. It's very important. Just do it, guys. Trust me, man. It's like I know you only get a sticker. You know what? Maybe that's it. It should be like the blood drive where they give you some cookies and some juice. Maybe people will come out there. You know what I'm saying? When you give blood, they give you some cookies and juice. If they did that, maybe they.
I'm gonna get going with you. People do mad shit for free shit, especially free shit. Food.
Look, if you put some fake news up in that joint, people will show up. People like, yo, y'all got fake news. Be like, you gotta vote first, brother. You gotta vote first, brother.
And then the fig Newtons.
Then you get the fig Newtons. See, the juice is behind the voting booth, but on that side. Yo, you know what? I'm telling you, it might work. I'm just saying, hey, look.
I'm like, at first, I was very skeptical. Now I fall this through. People love free shit.
Yep.
It's just a fact.
Yo,
I was like,
the sticker ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Sticker ain't enough.
Sticker ain't enough.
Cookies and juice, though?
It don't cost that much.
Yo, and matter of fact, since it's for a good cause, you can get somebody to donate the cookies or something. And then, look, holla at me. U.S. government watches this show. Holla at us. We got ideas.
By that fact.
Well, I mean, this is on Google, so you know the government's definitely watching. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, I said it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But next story, we'll slide
like
that.
America's Most Wanted now, but Ice Cube America Most Wanted.
Yeah. So we're going to slide that over.
Right.
And I want to talk about something. We've touched on this due to the MeToo movement. There was a hashtag this week of HimToo. Since the Brett Kavanaugh fallout, and he's now, a justice and everything, and there have been people fighting back saying, like, men can't do anything. It's so hard to be a man. And I mean, yes, there are things about being men that are hard, but this is being driven in a way where it's not about manhood as much as it is like, I didn't have to worry about being accused of stuff. Technically, we always have to be worried about being accused of stuff, so this isn't anything new, but this is specifically based on, of course, the MeToo movement, sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, stuff like that. And this guy's mom put out a Twitter post saying, this is my son, he's in the Navy, he's a good kid, and even he has to worry about, dating in this, this social climate because, women might accuse him or something, him too. And all right, here's and I don't have the actual numbers. I haven't done the research, but I'd assume out of 100% of the accusations that go on, 5% are probably straight false, just BS false. Then 10 probably fall into that weird, murky, Aziz Ansari kind of thing where it's like he wasn't feeling it, she wasn't feeling it, and they kind of just stopped, and now all of a sudden, years later, she want to say something. That's money. But then that leaves, straight up, 85% of people that are telling the truth. That's a lot of percent. I'm just saying, that's a whole lot of percent. There is a lot of room to say that, whenever an accusation comes forth, it's very serious, and the man is essentially socially ruined. Yes, that's true. But when the accusation is true, it's like, dude, what you expect? What do you think's going to happen? It's no different if you say this dude is an arsonist or this dude is a rapist or this dude is a terrorist or it's going to ruin your life. Now, for the ones that are not ruined, yes. I mean, the ones that are falsely accused, yes, we do need to do something to make sure that we kind of get them back on equal footing. But this, I feel like HimToo is placed to divert the attention of women that are. Yeah, I know he do. We'll get on you in a second, Max, because I know how you do. So, HimToo seems like another diversionary tactic against women that are, and boys. Boys, they just had the report about the Catholic Church that had all of those priests that had been doing stuff for 40 years, and ain't none of them going to jail. So yes, it's women and men that are being, assaulted, and even in school. Like, because women have been sleeping with their students for heavy since about 98. So it's like, boys have been assaulted in school too. But we can't divert.
Really that's just 98. That's not the.
Well, yeah.
I imagine
news has been covering it, but it's like let's not let this divert us. We do need to stomp this out because this is becoming an American problem, like a power problem. That no matter where you're going to be at, it's going to be an issue. And the reason it should matter is because, and this isn't meant to sound insincere, but actors and actresses, they're going to be all right? You know what I'm saying? They got money, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but you're going to be cool. The issue is the bank teller, the cashier at the store. Those women, They ain't got no power. They can't insulate themselves with millions of dollars. They just got to deal with that. So that's why the Me Too movement is still very, very valid. Very, like, it's very necessary so that the ordinary woman, like my mom, like your sister, your cousin, whoever, can actually be hopefully protected, or people can hopefully look out for when she says something and at least give some credence to her claims. So HimToo, in my opinion, yes, has the internet driven a wedge between men and women? Has it polarized things? Yes. Do I think that it's some kind of minefield or war zone when you're trying to date women? No. But Marqueeda, please. Please.
I was quiet. I was quiet.
Please.
I think HimToo is a co-op. Straight up and simple. I mean, let's get out the way. I do know there are male victims of sexual assault. There's no doubt. You brought up, priests and stuff like that. I feel that little boys particularly are preyed on quite frequently, quite often by other men, which is this underlying thing of like, we have an issue with men sexually assaulting people. And while I do know that women can and do commit sexual crimes,
it's just different. It's way different.
It's way different. The percentages are like super different. And I'm not saying don't talk about this. My problem is the conversation never comes up about this unless we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, have your rallies, get out there and educate people about male sex assault and all that, but don't wait until women talk about their issues to do that. While not supporting them in their issue. It's just like when black people protest and then all of a sudden people are like, all lives matter. This is literally an all lives matter
or like when Asian people try to slide in hold up.
Want to slide in, but they ain't never came to your protest.
No.
They're
barely let you shop in their store.
Highly critical, and I'm just not pointing out Asian. I feel like a lot of different groups do this to black people. We've had this conversation. A lot of people do this. Or I've been challenged when I've been online, because I'm a former social media manager, and I've ran very large accounts where people challenge black accounts I've ran. Why aren't you talking about our story? Like, well, that's not me.
We black.
Exactly. I'm black. I don't know your story like that. And if I had done that, you'd be saying I'm co-opting your story. Yeah. I'm guilty of cultural appropriation now and all that BS because you don't know what cultural appropriation even means. So this to me, this is a co-op. Like, do I think it's such a serious issue? It's
weird because in a way it's a story, but the way your angle on it makes it a non-story.
And then my thing is there's no HimToo. If the whole idea is it's so treacherous, like you said, to go out and date women, how about you just respect the woman? It's not oversensitivity.
Well, the idea from this is that women are just attacking.
You like read because he wrote like a mini essay.
Oh, so Max. All right, so
Max
we gonna
read what he said. I'm gonna finish up on my thoughts on this. So that's my problem with like the HimToo thing. Like it's like no, right. I know definitely there are male victims of sexual assault, but MeToo, HimToo is not about male victims of sexual assault. Yeah. It's about saying we can't go out and date women because they want us to respect them. That's literally your issue.
Snap! Goldman Vision, Goldman Vision, hit us with a super chat number deuce. Check it. Goldman Vision says, if you're afraid of your son in this climate, you messed up.
Right.
Not rocket science. Regarding male victims, it's typically men who prey on men/boys.
Thank you.
Because it's
that's the thing. Women, that's the like the elephant in the room.
It's weird.
And then we have like it's systematic. There's a culture where you kid around. You say things about like you can hear it in music. You can hear it in locker rooms. Like anytime, I mean, I'm not in a guy's locker room, but anytime you get a peek into that world,
I've heard some crazy stuff.
The conversations, and then me as being a queer woman having like guy friends that forget I have a vagina, and then they start talking like they do when the dudes are around. It's really gross. It's really disgusting the way that quite a few men, not all men, but too many men view women, and then you wonder why you have a problem. The problem starts with you, your entitlement, and your idea that women. We were talking about a case before we went live.
Word.
That happened in Alaska, where the idea is this man got a year of house arrest, and then the rest of his time washed away. He what were you saying? It was like an episode of
it was like an episode of SVU.
It literally could have been. It had all the twists and turns.
Dude choked her until
made her convince the woman. So he kidnaps the woman, convinces the woman that he's going to murder her.
Yeah.
All to just get off. Like this was
There's
television.
Something wrong with you,
plain and simple.
Something wrong with you.
And then he gets on house arrest. Then when they finally go to court, they said, well, I think the judge is like, I think he's through enough.
Yeah.
We're going to wash away the way.
Yeah, the prosecutor is like, he needs a pass.
He needs a pass.
Yo.
He says, and so the judge and this man has this super gentleman civil conversation with no mention of the victim in the room.
Yeah.
Saying, I feel like you've been through enough. He's like, yes, sir. I've had the year to work on myself. There's no apologies, no acknowledgement, no nothing.
Bruh.
A year of house arrest after you almost attempted to murder someone because you're like choking her out, making her feel like she's gonna die.
Yeah.
That is the problem we're talking about.
Bruh.
Even when they come, you get like it's clear he did it. There's no question about whether he did it or not.
Yeah, because he admits to doing it.
Exactly, but there's no consequences. And what makes you think that it's okay so you can get off to make somebody think you're going to murder them? That's okay in his head.
Even when you talk it out, so like before you got to the point where you were doing this to women, when you talked it out, or even when you thought like, okay, today's the day, nothing said, you know what, I need help. Like before you did your first infraction, maybe this wasn't the first woman he did it to. Whenever you had that thought, nothing said like, yo, man.
Yeah.
So I think I need some help.
There's problems with our system. There's problems with our culture.
Yeah.
That would let a room full of men in a court literally talk to themselves. It's literally, to me, it's the equivalent of your boys or your bros going, man, yeah, it's a little fucked up what you did, but it's all these hoes out here, All right, so bros over hoes.
So here we go. Max Evans, I'm gonna read you. I know you got an essay for us. I'm gonna read this. Max Evans says, I believe in some of credence in him too. It's not enough to be a gentleman when the MeToo/believe her have been compromised and can undermine reputations at whimsical allegations. I used to frown upon halal Islamic dating, but now it's needed in a hypersensitive environment that nearly defamed Chris Hardwick, Aziz, Morgan Freeman, Kavanaugh. HimToo is revisiting the consequences of the 1960s sexual revolution, i.e. slut walk. I'm going to create a chaperone. I'm going to create a chaperone for dating app. I could use your investment. False allegations are microscopic between 2 to 10%. However, what's to stop its abuse against ambitious people? Politics in every arena is dirty. FB, Russian bots, Duke, lacrosse case, Kavanaugh, Bill Cosby, etc., etc.
Why about we get the 90%, Matt?
All right, so
how about we get that 90%?
All right,
how we do that?
All right, so I will say this: there's in Islam, to all my Islam brothers and sisters out there are a lot of things that they do surrounding dating and marriage that are actually good ideas, because it would probably cut down on this whole like he said she said mess. Because it's like, before you can date my daughter, you need to talk to me, the father, and like the brothers and stuff. They'll be playing that mess, but also, I'm not against the chaperone dating app. It's weird, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? You probably could make some money off it. It's like, you remember like middle school dances? You had to put your hands between people. Couldn't let them dance too close. It would be weird.
Now that you put that all out there, I said that's the problem. It's that, to me, the problem with that system is it internally makes a woman a child and a property. And I'll give you that. That's my pushback with some of the things that is done in Islam. Like, the women never have their own agency. It's always a permission needed by some man. And
now, do you think some of it is kind of give and take for protection's sake, or?
Well, I definitely think it's a win for dudes. I can't help it. I mean, was like, if I felt like if I had been raised in a society, I would wish I had a penis. Like, at the end of the day. like depending on how strict you are with it, what country you're talking about, and how culture and their religion intersect, it can get very oppressive for women. Yeah. And so I can't get on board with it because I mean I was like, I think it's different
I
here.
See where you're going.
In America, I feel like because we're in America and we're constantly having these arguments and these debates, it allows it where it doesn't get that bad. But you still have honor killings in this country because the woman stepped out and said, you know what, I really just want to do this. And
you have the young women in Saudi Arabia, I think, that have been being killed because they're like either models or social media, you know, stars or whatever, and they don't fully adhere to like the full hijab and all that.
Unless we're gonna talk about the bad too. Are you gonna check? Because that's the conversation we're having right now. And so you're telling me to check male privilege, I need to give them more privilege. I don't understand how that's going to solve anything. It's like, well, if we just gave white people complete control again and just went back to before the 1960s, we'd be all good and dandy. I mean, they would be happy, but I doubt you would be. So I don't think the answer is like, let's give them more power over a particular sex.
I'm not mad at the chaperone app though. I feel like that's kind of funny. I feel like it's kind of funny.
Until I think you do it a few times and you're like, oh, now I feel like I'm a grown ass person paying bills, being made to feel like I'm in junior high.
It's like, hi Sarah, how are you doing? Is this your? This is our date chaperone. How are you doing?
I just really I would prefer.
They can have a whistle, like when you
sit down. In these cases, the men, just like we sit down and have the talk about cops. Maybe people need to sit down with their sons and have the talk because women have the talk. I have had the talk with my father, and I had to talk with my mother, both separately and together. They talk to your girls about how men are going to do them, the threats and the dangers. However, I think the problem is that not enough of that conversation is happening with men. And so they're allowed to get together. I mean, I remember it from junior high, high school, and the older they slowly get, the way they talk about women.
It gets very weird. It gets very weird in like middle school, and I'm sure you guys know in junior high or middle school, that's when people start to become different. Like in elementary school, everybody's just a kid. And then somewhere 6th, 7th, 8th grade, things change. Like for instance, you know, I was taught, you know, like, hey, you know, the P make people go crazy. Stay away from those guys. That's pretty much what I was taught. Like these guys, there are guys who are going to act like this. Stay away from them. You remember those guys in high school that would just do anything to get at girls' draws, and I was like, they go girl crazy, and nobody kind of checks that and says, hey, I know you're going through this, you're going wild, you know, let's figure out how we're going to get through that without you trying to set up girls and give you the P all the time. Like literally you telling girls you lie to them, you say whatever you got to say to them to get to it, and then you think that's fine. I was like, no, that girl was really into you. She really felt some kind of way. You like, I'm on to the next, on to the next. I'm like, you can't run through women that way because they're people at the end of the day. And my thing is this, with all these guys going out in here and doing these ludicrous things, if women were to somehow figure out how to start meeting, like, because I was like, there was these articles about like analogies, because like women are constantly in a state of, I need to check my back seat, I need to have my keys in my hand. Oh, don't walk, because the whole world is kind of like, you need to be responsible for fighting off any potential threats. It's always the balls back in your court. Why didn't you see the red flags? You're like, what red flags? There were no red flags. Sometimes there's not red flags.
And so it's always your responsibility to check them. But instead of, and even here with Max, I'm like, of course we're going to disagree. My thing is, you're still making it the woman's or somebody else's responsibility to check dudes from being douchey and rapey. How about we be just mad at people who rape people? You know, how about we make a culture where you can come, we can investigate, and it not be the end of the world if we investigate it. We're not talking about, and then there's like the rape kits. There's backlogs in every major city that go years back.
It's another underfunding.
It's super underfunded. How the fuck do you underfund rape kits? This is a society choosing one sex over the other. Rape is a terrible crime. It changes people, and like women should be raging out. And I'm like, if you start having some women go around doing half the shit that dudes do when they're upset about something, you know. Well, you gotta understand his feelings with her. He played her. If women acted like that half of the time, y'all would say something's wrong with us.
we have to figure out. I'll say this: we have to figure out a way for men and women to actually talk to each other online about serious issues. Because I do see the wedge, and I mean, I'm sure everyone else. There is a wedge online between men and women. And do I think a lot of stuff is about petty stuff? Yeah, but there are some serious issues. We do need to find a better way of talking online without just gifs, memes, and trolling each other.
Right, exactly. I agree with that.
But even though HimToo is just a co-op, it's a non-story. There are men that are assaulted, but that doesn't mean that maybe overshadow isn't the term, but it's like it's being used to say, oh, well, don't worry about MeToo. And it's like, MeToo is important because MeToo is a cancer in society, and it doesn't stop at women. Whenever a disease comes, it doesn't just, like, if you get a disease, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to attack, attack one organ, that's it, I'm going to just stop. No, it keeps going. So these guys that usually rape women or sexually assault women, or guess what? That's not enough for them no more. Now they gotta be racist, or they gotta burn down someone's house because they don't like them. Because it's diminishing returns. Like, I've grabbed a breast or two. It's it's not really getting me there. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you know what? I don't like Indians. You know what? I need to find me an Indian couple and just beat them because I need to escalate. That's why this is problem that we need to realize it'll just continue to instigate and continue to bubble and boil over and get bigger. And once again, like I said, the regular woman doesn't have these protections. Like, yes, we have Aziz, we have Chris Hardwick, we got Morgan Freeman, Brett Kavanaugh, if you believe it, but that's still on one hand, and they don't represent the average everyday man. Most men are not ever going to be accused of sexual assault because they're not doing it, they're just walking around.
Often is more about power than it is getting the sex.
Yeah.
I mean, because if it was about the sex, I was just like I told Michael, you can get you in certain places, you get your $20 trick, $40 trick. How much money you got? You can go and get a trick. If you want some legal tricking, go take your ass to Nevada.
Yeah.
But you can get, if you want just sex, there are places and ways to get that without raping somebody.
Yeah. This
comes down to power, and I think that's why you will find powerful men. It'll be lopsided.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they can get away with it. They've risen so far, or even before they have become men of power, it's also again a mindset, and this mindset is the problem. That's why you can have.
And it's kind of shared.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can have average Joes that don't have tons of money in the bank. They're not famous. Go out and kidnap people, tell them they're gonna murder them, and jizz all over them.
Yeah. And
just to walk off because the mindset, the privilege is like, oh, you were just having a good time. They had even the cops in there like, he said, well, he wasn't going to murder her. He just needed to get off. I'm like, how are you being sympathetic to that?
You realize he committed multiple crimes.
Right, multiple crimes.
Here's the thing for me too. One, I do think more normal people, or regular everyday people need to get involved besides Hollywood. And this is why. When Hollywood is done with Me Too, they are not coming back. They're going to be done. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to be a light on it. That's why more average everyday people need to be involved.
I totally agree.
Two, we need real consequences.
Right.
Not he had house arrest. This dude kidnapped someone, sexually assaulted someone, attempted murder someone. All those together should not be 1 year in house arrest. It should not. It should. I don't know how to count the laws properly,
change the culture,
but it should be more.
Your boys talking about something mad foul. Check your boys. Because there's so many guys who are like, I talked to now. Man, I had no idea. And I'm like, really though?
That's my third. That's my third thing.
Yeah, it's like
support whistleblowers, because this is what happens. Usually, a guy will come out. A guy will be like, "Yo, man, y'all kind of tripping," and there might be one or two other guys in the group that feel that way, but they don't want to support that because the most popular guy is like, "What do you mean?" So they're like, "No, support whistle." Well, if they're whistleblowing, good whistleblowing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they're pushing back.
Like,
I think I definitely seen it. Like I said, I've been in circles where again guys forget that I'm a woman for whatever real reason, and then I'll be like, and I'll be the only person to say anything. But if I hadn't said anything, the conversation that has become toxic will just continue.
Yeah, it's like support whistleblowers when you know people are tripping.
Or check your boys when they got foul ideas. Just do it. If you're claiming you know and you understand you would never, then why you let your friends? Me personally, I feel like we can't be friends if you saying something foul. Yeah. And I have to let you continue talking that BS for us to be friends, and we won't be friends. Yeah. So I was like, check your boys.
It's you don't have to. If you're someone who ends up getting checked, it's not a reason to fight. You don't always have to fight. Sometimes it's like, you know what? Maybe I was bugging. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't have everything doesn't have to be a fight. Mm-hmm. So it's like the Me Too movement is very has the internet polarized it? Yes, it has. But it's very valid. It is very valid. It is a power issue in America that needs to be dealt with. Seriously. It just needs to be dealt with. Now, I do think it needs to be dealt with laws. And I don't really see a lot of lawmakers, following suit. And that's why the Hollywood thing is funny, because Hollywood just makes it popular, but Hollywood ain't making no laws. You know what I'm saying? We need lawmakers to actually be like, no, okay, the punishment for this needs to be...
change the consequences, make sure that the sentences are longer, more severe.
Or even if they're not long, then they actually serve a sentence.
Because a lot of times they're not getting convicted, or they get convicted and have baby.
Like Brock Turner, what was it, 3 months? It's like, come on, man.
6 months and only served 3.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. You can't, we have to
say,
serious.
Oh, but we're taking the problem seriously. Okay.
And I venture to say that even though I know that this is a power problem in America, the reason, and you alluded to this earlier for the show, it's not an issue right now because the people with power in America are white people. If you looked at this Me Too board or whatever, and it was 98% black men, these sentences would be 20 years, 25 years, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But, of course, the power structure in America bends just a little bit towards white men.
Into the argument that a lot of
white women, the girl with on CornerstoreCaroline, which we already talked about.
Exactly. They never faced any charges for this. But to the point of people constantly pointing out Bill Cosby being the only person who got there. That I agree with them, that has something to do with his race. He's the only one of all these men that have been accused that actually went to court and got a sentence. There could be intersections to this. I still think Cosby needs to pay for what he did. I don't care about that. We're not going to lower our standards just because some other people don't know any better or don't want to know any better. I say that all of them need to go to jail, and not just Bill Cosby. All of them need to go to jail, but I think that's one of the reasons why he's in jail and the rest of them aren't. All these other big names are not in jail because they got the right skin cover. It's getting kind of spooky in that way, where it's okay, you look at it and there's only very few men of color who have solid cases, cases with evidence. Because it's not people are like, oh my goodness, you ruined his reputation. Well, that woman had her life ruined as well,
Yeah,
it's not like it's a walk in the park to come forward. That's another thing about this whole, you're destroying these men's life. Dr. Ford is getting death threats. Yeah. So I hope,
and also,
I believe her, because I was nobody's going to put themselves through that. To challenge a powerful man particularly, but any man. We have rape culture here. We drag victims and those making those accusations through the mud. Y'all act like it's a walk in the park, daisies a dozen, to accuse people of rape. It's not.
Here's the idea that came about of these women are getting rich.
That's not true.
Back in the 90s, yes, you could sell book rights or Lifetime movie or something, but those people ain't getting billions of dollars, and that's not the social climate anymore.
Wait. Often those came long after the case was done.
But that's where the idea came from.
And then they sit there, and I remember watching an interview with, oh my God, I can't believe I'm faulting at her name. Anita Hill.
Yeah.
Anita Hill. And she'll tell you it was a long road to put her life back together again after coming forward with the sexual assault. It made some big changes about how sexual assault was dealt in the workplace. So there was a positive, even if, smaller effect.
Yeah.
So she had an effect, and it's very important when looking at the workplace. But however, she suffered, I think, disproportionately on what she was able to infect, that now you have HRs that are like on sexual assault, we can't have that here, and stuff like that. And so they investigated. I honestly think that people do their due diligence to investigate this, and I think that a lot of times there are exceptions. There are the exceptions, but those exceptions are like this, and I'm talking about the rest of it. Yes. I want to talk to you about this because it does. Let's not
let the 5%.
It is 5%. Whatever percent you want to give it is less than 10. You mean to tell me we should ignore the 90% because it might be the 10%. That is hard pill to swallow. That means you're ignoring a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
To say, well, what about these smaller group over here, man? Can we talk about this over here?
Yeah.
I said you can talk about that, but maybe again. Build yourself a platform. Go talk about it. Not only when, that's to me what discredits these arguments. That if they're so important, if people think it's much more of a problem than we're saying it is, why wait to use it as a deflection tactic to bring it up? If it's such an important issue to you, or you think it's being minimized, why isn't it ever brought up unless a woman is talking about her issues? That's my thing. We have a lot of people who do this, like again, I brought up earlier about Black Lives Matter. It's like, well, we have issues too. Okay, why aren't you talking about them before now? It's just a distraction. It's just a deflection.
Yeah.
And then once it dies away, you hear nothing about it. It's not like, oh, well, you could say, oh, well, I felt empowered by your movement, so now I'm going to start an organization, I'm going to start doing rallies, I'm going to start doing round tables. That never happens.
Thank you.
MeToo or HimToo is going to die off. The people talking about false accusations die off. When this dies off, and there's nothing, because MeToo has gone in ebbs.
Yeah.
Ebbs. And in between, it's gotten quiet. Where are you people? Where are you people with all these things? Where are the guys who want to talk about male assault?
Yeah.
Where are the guys who are doing HimToo? Where are the guys who are talking about false accusations? False accusations. Where are you people when the noise from MeToo, gets a little quieter? You guys disappear. And that's my issue.
Yeah.
It's really, to me, it doesn't seem like it's a big enough deal.
Goldman Vision brings up another point. I don't understand how people don't realize sexual assault happens in private, not in front of an audience with witnesses and recording devices. There are times when sexual assault happens in public, but most of the time this is a very, personal thing, a very private thing, a very secret thing. Because
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You're not trying to advertise it. I mean, the flashers do, because that was something that I think a lot of guys don't like. This is like a woman's life in like bird view that guys just don't have. Like, the sexual assault is so real about how guys feel about you. Like, and I'm saying guys, but clearly not all guys. And I said from like the age of being like in junior high to now, like, men showing themselves to you, men's trying to like get it.
And there was a guy earlier this week in somewhere in LA that got caught on camera following a young girl around the store with his self out. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
And like trying to cop feels. I've definitely got guys trying to like touch me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Since junior high, since like before I was developing. Like, they want to touch you. I was like, I remember I was walking from junior high, and there was these guys hanging out in their front yard. And as we walked by, guys snatched the lollipop. I did this to talk to, I think, my sister and my friend we were walking to, and he snatches that lollipop that had just recently been in my mouth. You can see it had been recently in my mouth. Yeah. And put it in his mouth. Snatched it out, and we just kept walking. So I'm like, the assault is real, guys. Like, it is constant. It starts at a young age where you don't know how to understand it.
We all know those dudes that are just, they just do weird stuff like, when it comes to women.
I had too many people assault me in different ways over my lifetime for you to tell me that this is not a prevalent problem through our society. It's just, I was like, and I'm no cuter than any other kid when I was little. It's not about my looks. It's about
like, I don't know, maybe, preying on someone. And Fox Toussaint says, yep, I remember me and my friends getting flashed on the way home from school, and they knew we were young. Or they know you're young.
You got backpacks on, you got uniforms on. Yeah. You know, because I went to school when uniforms was like, well, now California, after a certain year, everybody except for high schoolers wear uniforms. Okay. And if you go to private school in high school, you usually wear a uniform.
True.
But everybody, junior high, elementary, wear uniforms. So you know these kids are in school. There's no confusing
They got the khakis on and the jacket.
You got big-ass backpacks, hair with barrettes all through them. And you still got guys. I remember going to school in junior high and waiting for the bus because I went to a magnet school. And he was like, hey, tenderoni. And I was like, older dude, toothless. I'm like, why?
You gotta be toothless?
It's why he was though, young tenderoni. I was like, oh my goodness, walk away, run away. And so, guys, y'all out here like defending these homies like they don't. It's everywhere.
Here's the thing: the reason why it's so important for regular guys that aren't doing, because there's a ton of regular guys that don't do this mess. They just go to work and come home or something. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But the reason it's important for us to ask for like laws, or well, I guess there are laws just for them to be enforced or actually get real consequences, is because if we can get them out of the way, then the stuff that we're angry about, like, Dad, we always gotta hear about a dude. There's always gotta be this. If you're so angry about it, then we can get them out the way, and then we don't have to hear about it no more, because then the landscape will be cleansed. You know what I'm saying? There won't be no. Well, I mean, there's always gonna be a dude. You know, there's always gonna be crime. But if we can, hit it, put a dent in it.
Right, because it's just like white people complain about hearing about racism all the time. It's like, you tired of hearing about it? We tired of experiencing it. Yeah, like that's how I feel about sexual assault, and in the majority of the weight being on women when it comes to that. The majority of the victims are still going to be women. I feel like even if you had every dude come out, you would still see this big disproportionate thing with it. But I would love to address all victims of sexual assault. I just don't want them to be used. One group to be used as a way to kind of or divert the attention, and that's what's happening. I'm just gonna call people on their shit. Like literally, when this shit dies away, and it's in the middle of November, and y'all guys are talking about Turkey, where y'all pep rally for all this shit y'all so bent about? Ain't gonna be one. I will bet money there will not be one.
Yo, man.
And I would happily lose that money if y'all actually got off your ass and did it. So I'm good. I'm good either way. I'm gonna make money, or y'all gonna get off your ass and do the shit that y'all constantly saying y'all so up in arms about.
And speaking back to the whole thing with lawmakers, during this cycle, I haven't seen any ads talking about MeToo stuff. I haven't seen any ads talking about I'm tough on Me Too. No, because they know. They like, look, that's some Hollywood stuff. We ain't worried about that.
I'm much darker than that. I often think that they probably done got too close and too heavy with what they own interns. True. I feel like again with Congress, if these are people of power, and like you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I say I'm sure there's some good people with power. I love the idea that there are good people with power, but my problem with good people with power is for too long they turn a blind eye to bad people with power. It's just like when we talk about the police, and they let these few bad apples like ruin the lot by not checking That one bad cop that's been doing this shit forever and a day, and it's well documented.
Which goes to the whole thing of the support whistleblowers,
right?
Because I've heard the stories about police that have stood up, and then all of a sudden
they get fired, pension
taken, or
get harassed.
There's been stories of police that they come out and then when they call for backup, it never shows. All kinds of stuff. So yes, that does happen. It is scary to blow the whistle. That's why we need to support people that blow the whistle so that the whistle can be blown.
We don't be like an interesting like blow the whistle, but then like do it too short.
Oh yeah,
that'd be like the PSA.
Blow the whistle. Yeah, because I mean, and this is on another tip. Eric Snowden, technically, I mean, he broke the law, but he broke the law to bring to light the law that the U.S. government was breaking. So it's like he broke the law, but he broke it because somebody else was breaking the law
in Russia. I don't think he wants to be there.
Don't nobody want to be in Russia. Shouts out to Russians that be watching the show. Putin, you know what I'm saying? Look, I know how you do with your computers.
That's
so I'm just saying. But don't nobody. At least you don't want to be in Russia like that. You know what I'm saying?
The way he's in Russia, and like the only reason I feel like the Russians have him is because they can thumb their nose at the American government. Yeah. So protect the whistleblowers. Whistleblowing is important. Yeah. And it's like, look, if you know what I'm saying, I would say in any time, in any time, I'd say it's probably easiest or best to blow the whistle now, because at least if you're a senator, a mayor, whoever, if you blow the whistle these days, you could probably get public perception behind you and maybe stave off the attacks that you're going to get, because you are going to get attacked. They're going to be like, didn't you steal a Snickers when you were in first grade? It's like, well, yeah, but I also didn't force my intern to get on her knees. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that stuff is coming. When you blow the whistle, it's coming. They're going to be like, well, NERDSoul, didn't you do something? It's like, well, yeah, but I also didn't. None of us innocent, but that's.
But I also didn't pee on somebody, so I guess that's a wash.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. That was a perfect example. I did not pee on somebody against their will, because I know
against their will. I know. Some people like.
Some people like the water sports. We're not against you.
You like it? You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about the people
I ain't
that
gonna stop it. But I'm just saying the people that don't want it, we're protecting them, and the people that do want it, do
live your life.
Live your best life. All right, so
what's the next
moving on. Speaking of government, here and this is a story that you brought to me, the one with Governor Jerry Brown of California.
Now, Jerry Brown signed this law, but he didn't have a lot to talk about it. I felt like he thought it would be a controversial topic. And so the bill got passed to lower knowingly giving somebody HIV down from a felony to a misdemeanor. And they have arguments. They're saying that, hey, now with treatment, you can live a long, full life with the disease. It's not the death sentence that it once was. Yeah. It disproportionately is used against prostitutes, regardless of whether they have HIV or not. Sometimes, like it has issues. But this goes back to what we were talking earlier with this common thread of the justice system. There's no justice in the justice system. It's the criminal system in America needs huge reforms. Yes. It's I think I was like, I don't think I was talking about it with you, but like you commit the same the crime. Sometimes you can commit the crime together, and different people will get different sentences, even though they play pretty much an equal share in the crime. Or of course you have the racial disparities where you have a white person, a black person, they commit the exact same crime in the exact same circumstances, and like white person's getting probation and the other person's being hit with 15 to 20, and you're just like, what? And I said, this is the problem with our system. So I don't feel like it was a bad law. Also, HIV is the first and only disease, I think, that was criminalized for passing, and I probably it was with the fact that it was so severe. Like, if somebody gets infected with this disease, it's kind of like the equivalent of manslaughter. Like you knowingly giving them a disease.
Yeah, you're knowingly giving them. It's not the common cold.
Right, exactly. But so my issue with it is, I understand that. I get the stigmas. I said, to me, sounds like we need to fix the criminal system, which we already know we need to do.
Yeah, Ben
need to fix it. So you're telling me because the criminal justice system does not do its job well about making sure that it's fair and just, and making sure that the crime, fits the punishment fits the circumstances of the crime. If she's only guilty of prostitution, she should be charged with prostitution. Yeah. Especially if she's HIV negative. You're allowing bias to infiltrate its way into our justice system, which we already know exists there. Don't even come for me on that. I know.
Now Max Evans says your state is wildin'. Get your house in order like my great state of Massachusetts, the real progressive and liberal state.
I do like Massachusetts, so I'm going to give him that.
We're going to let you slide.
I'm going to give you
We're going to let you slide.
I'm going to give you, because I feel like it's true. I feel like
Mass, we're gonna let you slap.
My feeling was, hell, you could add a whole bunch of diseases to that, because you give the key word is knowing. I think it's malicious, because they were also saying, well, making it a felony stops people from getting tested, and so they can say this is my problem with it. I have an issue.
Yes, that's why I'm like.
I was like, my issue with that. I said, I can see that. But only if you give no fucks about the people you're sleeping with. That's the only way you could not care whether or not you have HIV and you won't get yourself tested. Because, hey, if you get yourself tested and you know you're HIV positive, then you know you should not be sleeping around without condoms. And I've had all too many friends that have close calls where they've been with somebody and the person's real insistent that they don't use condoms, just to come back later and find out that person's HIV positive. And they're like, well, I thought everybody had it. And I'm like, are you serious?
I thought everybody had it.
Are you serious?
Joint, I feel like this joint disproportionately helps out people like Charlie Sheen, who admitted to knowingly giving and sleeping with people while he was HIV positive. And I was like, so where's that case at?
Exactly.
I'm like, where that case at?
He never even caught a case behind it.
Never caught a case.
And I said, it's not a bad law. It's enforcement is the problem. Like we said earlier, having laws against rape is a great idea. You're not going to take the laws against murder off the books because you're doing a crappy job enforcing them fairly. So that's what you're telling me. The justice system is doing a crappy approach or execution of enforcing these laws and being fair to everybody. So you're just going to scrap the law almost together because now you're making a misdemeanor. I feel like these people should be responsible for the person's treatments. True. They should be paying these people damages. Yep. You give me any disease, curable or not, and I'm going to consider whether I need to spend a spell in prison. I mean, that just makes you hot. Like the idea of somebody going around knowing they got a disease and passing that shit on to you. And I don't care if I'm not going to die, but in the case of HIV, that's also, they lowered this with a lot of assumptions. That means you got access to health care. Now in California, we're still protecting like our Obamacare and stuff like that. However, it hasn't been great for everybody. Some people are still struggling with that system. That means you have to be able to like go online, be tapped into stuff, have the know to get these resources. And so we don't have universal health care. Healthcare isn't like a given for everybody in the state. And
which seems like a slam dunk for a country that's supposed to be as well-to-do as we are. Right, there's certain slam dunks. Like there shouldn't be. I feel like school shouldn't be an issue. Like when they be like, oh, these school got old books. Why? We got mad money. Right. We got like billions of dollars that we're spending on tons of stuff.
Better with the money we have. Like our accounting is pretty bad. And our spending.
But I mean, as much money as they had, like honestly, as much money circulating in the U.S., there shouldn't be a pothole nowhere.
Oh my God.
Schools,
we got past taxes.
Schools shouldn't have to worry about asbestos.
Right.
Flint shouldn't be a thing. Also, Flint isn't the only city that can't drink their water.
Right.
That shouldn't be a thing. Yeah. There's just simple things. It's like, yo, hold up. So we still got that? We still dealing with this?
Exactly. So I just totally disagree with downplaying this because HIV doesn't have a cure.
Because knowingly giving it makes it it makes it malicious. And if it's malicious, how is it not a crime?
Exactly. And then you avoid
it's a misdemeanor, but it's different.
It's different now. And that's like you avoiding getting tested just means like you care more about fucking without condoms than you do about the people you're having sex with. So I was like, no, you still a trash person. You still like a really dirtbag trash person. Avoiding getting. I was like, so none of the arguments made to me made sense. I was like, that's just like, nah.
True. Now, big shout out to Zara in the chat. What up, Zara? What up? She says, the laws change when it starts to affect the wrong people, the wrong group of people. A black crackhead goes to jail, but a white meth head, he gets treatment. Yeah. And that's true because we see all these commercials where it's like, call the Addiction Network. Call us and we'll take care of you.
It's a sickness.
It's a sickness.
It's a disease.
It's a disease, and we will help you get through this. And I'm like, cool. Let's get through this. Let's help people get through this. But where was this help when black people was getting it? When y'all saw that commercial with the egg. This is your brain on drugs, and cracking down on drugs and everything. Where was the help then? Where was the Addiction Network then? Now all these white people dying, dropping like flies. Now all of a sudden it's the Addiction Network. You got this nice person on the commercial trying to help you out. But moving on. Oh snap! Oh, hold on. Big shout out. Goldman Vision coming through on the number 2 for that. Look, don't be afraid of that super chat. All right, it's real. But he says, I love this show. Thank you too for doing an important thing. Comics are gateways into real life issues. They portray with fantastic plots and panels. Yes, that's what I've been doing with my channel, is like getting y'all in, and now let's talk about some other stuff. So it's like, and speaking of Goldman Vision, he made a comment of, I'm going to have to say that a lot of people don't get treatment because of this law. My cousin Sammy died of HIV-related illness. Getting treatment in NYC was hard enough for her. And that's basically what you said is, getting that treatment ain't cheap, and there's no guarantee that you got help. You know what I mean?
You get the HIV, and once it's on there, it's like, well, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, it's
and you're like, but it's not the law. Like you're not in like the law here in California isn't about you having HIV. There's no law that says you have HIV when you quarantine you. The law we're fighting. Maybe I did not get around to understand is that if you knowingly give HIV to somebody, you transmit it to somebody, knowing that you had HIV, and then disclose you had HIV to your partner, then that sets you up to get a felony. You got to spend prison time, and I think that that allows people to sue you for damages and stuff like that. So, but you definitely get this felony on your record, and you spend some time in jail. Yeah. And I said, well,
you should.
I agree, because I like. The anger I would feel at people giving me a disease, any disease, like
because it's different than something like if you give someone the flu, that's not on purpose.
I felt mad about the whole herpes thing in Usher.
Like, I was like,
herpes doesn't go away, it doesn't kill you, but it makes your life miserable. You got to deal with it.
Now there was that one girl that came out. She was mad because she could have got herpes.
Now that ain't make
That was hilarious.
That was like, girl,
homegirl had a press conference.
You know what? I'm not gonna diss. I don't want to diss her. I think she was doing too much, but I do understand being angry. I would be angry, but I wouldn't call a press conference.
She had a press conference.
I wouldn't have a press conference because I didn't catch it. But
her lawyer was standing beside her like,
yes, girl.
This sounded like a good idea. Now that we're here, it seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I think she did too much. But at the same time, I'm like, I understand her anger.
Yeah.
Because you lay down with me knowing you have a disease, like that to me is like a level below, like you don't think I'm shit. Like you really don't respect me as a human being.
Yeah, it's like, nah,
if you would give me a lifelong disease. That's the thing. It's like it's not going to kill you, but you have to do treatment. Now I have to tell every partner I lay down, it ain't cheap. I hope I have and then what state you depend in. With the Usher case, it wasn't in California. In other places, you don't know what the treatment. A lot of states did not take the money to extend their Medi-Cal to people. And then if you know anything about Medi-Cal, it's not the most awesome health care you can have.
It's not, guys.
By a far stretch of the imagination. So there's a lot of things missing. They're accounting for a lot of stuff that isn't there. And it didn't say nothing about making that person responsible about assisting that person if you're knowingly going around spreading a disease.
True.
So yeah.
Big shout out to Omega Dread. Speaking of Medi-Cal, he said, what's crazy is if you make a little more money, you get booted off of healthcare for Medi-Cal, and you still have to pay into it. So it's like, yo, it's like, yeah, I'm making like $2 more, but you know, it's like. Right. It's like I'm making $2 more. I still need help.
Right, and they're sometimes they're falsely low until like you can still be above that and still be struggling. There's a lot of working poor people. Yeah, there's a lot of people who got multiple jobs. Yeah, and it's just not working in where they're living. And not all of them live in big cities because it adjusts with where you live. Like if you live in a small town, yes, the cost of living is lower,
but you get that small town money.
Exactly, you get small town wages.
Yeah,
there might not be a job at all. Like that's the thing I think people don't understand. Like, why aren't you in the big cities? Well, if you go to these small towns,
there's a lot of places that like there's one place to work.
Exactly, there's no job for you to have in these other towns, and so you don't have the support on top of that. So should that one job fall through that you did able to find, and you can't find any other job, now you're away from your base of people. You don't got nobody's couch to sleep on. You just lose all your shit. And like hopefully you figure it out, like it's all going bad, so you can use the last bit of your money to get back to where your family base is. Yeah. But some people have gotten caught up between a rock and a hard place, and then they're just stuck. You know, then they gotta phone somebody, hope somebody can send somebody.
Yeah, hopefully.
And hopefully, because not even with our family bases, if we don't come from money and our family's not entirely stable, we can't rely on them. You know,
so that's not always a guarantee.
It's not always a guarantee. So people make a lot of assumptions that because this is how my life goes.
Yeah, then you can do
your life, you can do it too. And I was like, that's not always the case.
Sort of, but not exactly.
Not really. I was like, not everybody's situation is the same.
Now, I did want to fly by people. People said they want to talk about the White House visit this week. We did put him in the description. So yes, I wanted to fly by this. We've pretty much said all we can say about this young man.
I feel like we're gonna be repeating ourselves. It sounds like parents. That's just right.
I will say this. To a certain degree, we're watching someone melt down in real time in public
from his mental illness.
And I'll say this: if this person had a sister, probably would have got him some help instead of just playing it up for more publicity.
Right.
But I'll let that slide for now. We've already said that his position makes him way too dangerous to be saying this stuff. His volatility makes him too polarizing to say the things that he said. Sometimes
I even get into what he was talking about, and I don't even entirely disagree because now he's focusing on, but the conversation he's having, I felt like when I watched Dog play, but they're like, he actually has some good things to say. The way he fixes like his position on the 13th Amendment, that he wants to get rid of that little thing. He wants to bring manufacturing back to to the U.S. and stuff like that. And I said, those are all tight points, but man, did it take a lot of shifting.
He also brought up the one thing I cannot stand when we're talking about police brutality. He had the nerve to bring up, let me say this for everybody, for the people in the back.
Go ahead, say it. Speak on it.
Just because there is black on black crime does not mean that it is okay to have police brutality.
Right.
They are not intertwined, and you don't have to talk about black on black crime due to police brutality. All right. Both of them are the result of white supremacy, but one of them takes an oath to serve and protect. The person across the street didn't take no oath. All right. Also,
and
when you
force, it's a myth.
Thank you.
White people kill other white people at the same percentage. They may not have like the inner city fighting, but that's where the white supremacy, these ghettos and stuff come in.
Thank you.
And when they knock down the projects in Chicago, because everybody likes to talk about Chicago.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago, so I'm sure that's what everybody was thinking about when he started to say that shit. It's like they knock down these huge high-rise projects. And so the high-rise projects have hierarchy and gang structures. That then, much like any country where you like tear down like the structure, you mix a whole bunch
create
of
a
people
power
together,
vacuum.
Power vacuum. You have all these like new younger bloods of all these different gangs fighting it out, and that's what you're dealing with. And if you speak with somebody from Chicago, it's unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, it's like a isolated, like there's this part.
Yeah. They make it seem like
it's all Chicago.
They make it seem like if you go to the store in Chicago, you're guaranteed to get shot.
It's a problem. Yeah. I'm not minimizing the problem. Like anytime you got people just shooting people with dumb shit, it's a problem. Yeah. But how you hitch that to police brutality to explain what they're doing when they're supposed to be trained. It's the HimToo joint. It's literally the HimToo.
It's like police. Matter of fact, I'll take it this because there are some times where we feel like we're being hunted. All right. You know what? They say people shouldn't poach, and they have rules and laws that, poachers shouldn't be out there hunting animals. You know what? Just let them poach. Animals eat each other. You know what I'm saying? You have cheetahs eat gazelles. You know what I'm saying? Hawks eat chipmunks. Let's just let them poach. You know what I'm saying? Let's let the police hunt black people because why not? You know what I'm saying? No, like, it's not what you're supposed to do. You're talking about a private citizen as opposed to an officer of the law.
Who should be trained like this whole, like, I felt in fear of my life defense is crazy because you literally picked this
You the softest
profession. And I'm not saying you should not be scared. It's not, I don't get scared because I hate that because I think it leads to a lot of toxicity in our society where people pretending they're not afraid when they clearly are, but it's what you do with that fear.
Max, we ain't dealing with you right now.
Firefighters run into burning buildings because that's their job. That's what they come on to. There's great risk to them. And the New York Fire Department ran into the Twin Towers when they're on fire. The possibility of falling, maybe like they thought they couldn't fall, but for me, when I watched it happen on television, that's what I immediately thought. As a kid, I was like, oh man, like, are those things going to be okay with planes hitting them and stuff like that? And even when the first one failed, they didn't rush out of the other one. You would think they'd be like, oh man, the North Tower just went. Let's get the fuck out of here. No, they were still trying to save people. Yeah. So I understand that your job is scary. You take it on. It's a scary job. But to then constantly shoot people who are unarmed and then give me this weak sauce claim that you were in fear of your life. Come on, son, really? So I was just like, no,
one thing I do think we need is we need more of our celebrities and stars and stuff like that to speak out and become vocal to hopefully silence one of us that I believe is just he's gone.
Well, okay.
And we need because we got some. We definitely got some. But we need some louder voices.
One, I don't think we need more Hollywood into this because
you're right. You're right.
It's fleeting. But
Hollywood is fleeting.
When he first started to do this on his Twitter account, quite a few people did. Quite a few people. Actually, a good number of celebrities was like, hey, you tripping. He was posting John Legend's texts with them and stuff like that. But John Legend, he's still winning because he's like, well, since you publishing shit and everything, my album dropped such day. I was like, I ain't mad at you, John. I'm not mad at you.
Yo, John Legend's stupid.
Find that silver line. That's why he's an EGOT. That's why that dude's an EGOT. He's like, he's staying minded. He's like, all right, I got you.
He gonna get that money.
He's gonna get that money. But I would have to say that was already been done. And he pushed back. I'll get that. He pushed back with y'all just trying to get in the way of my free thinking. Y'all trying to stop me.
Oh yeah. Here's how y'all can watch out for. Whenever someone says something about free thinking, just watch out.
It's like a code word.
Watch out. Once you hear free thinking, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I like I said, there's not a whole bunch of stuff new. I mean, you can analyze it. He said new stuff. But to me,
he also talked about alternate universes, which I'm not against. But I don't know if this is a forum.
Where he's at, and I was like, look, I'm cool with that theory. However, it's just like,
why are we talking about that
now it's like, and I said, so I do think, like, I don't think he is crazy or mentally ill because of what some of the things he's saying. I just think his behavior with it, because he's jumping all over the place, back and forth here and there. He seems like he's in a manic state. Yeah. Look, I ain't got no doctorate in psychology, but I feel like
we know crazy.
But I've seen, like, my personal relatives that are of that flavor.
We seen crazy.
Going into it, and that's what it looks like. And a lot of other people express, like, they have family members, people they take care of. And they're like, dude needs help. Like if he was perfectly well and had this, I would not be bringing up the mental ill thing.
Yeah.
You know, if it
But he's even said that he took the meds, he started feeling good, so he stopped taking them. And he's like, whoa.
Well, that's a hallmark, actually. A lot of people do that. A lot of people who have different things, especially the things that, like, I don't know what he has.
Yo, Omega Dress said, Kanye should have said, why do aliens always be kidnapping white folks?
He want to be kidnapped, too. He want to see what's on the spaceship, too.
He want to go to the alternate universe.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things. And I thought it was weird how some people drained out all the other stuff he talked about just to talk about, like, the real stuff he talked about. Yeah. So I was like, he did bring it. I wanted to give the olive leaf, like, where he did bring up a few things. Yes, but then you have to remember all the other stuff he said while he's bouncing around, yelling, cussing in the Oval Office.
Yo. I was like,
and Trump.
I was like,
I've never seen Trump. Trump was so quiet.
Yo.
He was so quiet.
I think Trump was like, because Trump loves publicity.
Oh, he does.
And he loves being like, oh, I'm not racist because I have black friends. So this is a perfect example. I get publicity and a black friend. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like when Kanye was talking, Trump was like, oh, snap.
Right. He was just, oh, snap mode. I never seen him be so quiet. And him just like, this face up like, what? Uh-oh. And like, he's smiling. It felt like a nervous smile to me, but I was
it was nervous.
I was like, yeah.
Fox 2 Socks says, if your fam knows that you're in a manic state, would they allow them to do these things? Or why would they allow him to do these things? Seems like exploitation to me.
Most definitely.
You know, come on, you know the Kardashian clan. Look, that joint is like, how can we get money?
Exactly.
Anyway, on one hand, they've done very good for themselves. Mm-hmm. On the other, there's a lot of stuff that I would not push my daughters into if I had daughters. Mm-hmm. You know, I wouldn't push them into it. You could say sexual revolution, whatever you want. I would not be pushing my daughters
I co-sign that
at all.
Because somebody was getting on me, and I was like, why can't we appreciate, it was this old argument about Lupita, Beyonce, and I was like, some people were like, because they're shaped differently. Some people were trying to like rep one or the other. I'm like, well, one, they're in two different lanes, they do two different things. They're both black women. Let's celebrate both of them and stuff like that. And then she's like, well, you need to bring that same energy to Kim Kardashian. And I said, well, it's not a business model I would promote young women taking on. Having a sex tape so you can blow up and start like a personality empire. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not. And remember the failed attempt. I hate bringing this up. I don't know if I should bring it up.
Go on and bring it up. Might as well.
The failed attempt. I think her name's Montana Fishburne.
Oh, snap.
She tried to do the same thing.
Yo, I check it.
Yeah.
Straight up. All right.
And I was like, girl, it don't work that way for us. It don't work that way for us.
Yo, Montana Fishburne.
And then she had so much access. Like, your father is a great actor.
He was like, oh, you gone and you gone.
Yeah. I was like, I don't understand why you even felt the need. But that was a perfect example of how that is not a sure way to do anything. Yeah. One, and so that was my issue. So it's like I literally had this other woman, another black woman.
Should have been with Ray J. Should have been with Ray J.
Challenge me and be like, "Well, I can give that same energy to Kim," because I'm not going to encourage people to have a sex tape to launch their career. Yeah. One, that was like a shot in the dark.
Yeah, because Paris. Where Paris Hilton?
Right.
Where's she at?
And it's really just a change. And parents still didn't got money. She was just doing it because I guess she's bored. She always looked bored. She always looked bored. Parents always look bored. Person is like, I'm bored. And stuff like that. I've got money. I got a trust fund. I'm just doing this because I'm bored. What happened?
Goldman Vision, he says the Kardashians had an episode where Khloe at 12 went for laser removal on her lower region. They kept talking about on air how cute her vajayjay was as a child.
That's weird.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's some old Hugh Hefner. Because see, people forget Hugh Hefner had underage girls up in that magazine they love so much.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh, what? That's what I thought.
But wow. I have no idea. That's crazy.
Wow, that is
Give me
crazy.
all the facts. Y'all gonna see all these comments later.
These comments,
hot. They're lit.
So, last thing I wanted to touch on is more of a, I guess, a public venue safety issue. You know, we had the issue in Vegas, and now with the Lil Wayne performance, a little semi-recently last weekend. I'm not
familiar with this one, so.
Lil Wayne was performing, and around his like 4th or 5th song, somebody started yelling, gunshots, gunshots, someone shooting, started yelling out that gunshots were going on. And it seems that after an investigation, there were no gunshots, but people started, of course, they started running. People got trampled, people got hurt, people got injured, sent to the hospital, all stuff like that. And I guess it was somebody trying to be funny, trying to be, but this is a huge safety issue where, where now
Why
you're
do people do this kind of stuff?
I don't know, but it's a safety issue, and I know that we all love our perform. Like you were going to Childish Gambino or whatever.
But that doesn't have anything to do with your love. Like if anything, that's the opposite. I feel like it's like some haterade going on with that. Because for you to yell out, that's like saying fire in a theater. That's a very old saying. You don't do that because people will get hurt.
Max, I ain't gonna front. When I first saw the story, I did think of Malcolm X where he said, "Get your hand out my pocket." I did think of that because Max came in. He said, "Get your hand out my pocket." So I do remember that. I did think of that. But and I've been to tons of performances, and I'll probably be in some more. And you don't think about all these people. There's really only a couple of exits, and people ain't really thinking about that when something happens. And just keep that in the back of your mind, especially if you're with, say, your friends or a young child or whatever. It might be an outside performance or something. Just keep that in your mind because people are...
that becomes a thing. And I was like, and to me, that has nothing to do with you loving a performance or loving. It's the opposite. It's like you going in there being some, smart asshole that thinks you're going to be so funny. Watch this. And then people get sent to the hospital, possibly killed, because people get killed being trampled.
Yeah, you can get trampled to death.
You can get trampled to death by other people. People can smush you to death. If you hit a door.
That's
you hit a door that's
a long
open.
time ago. You guys can look it up. There was a party that Puff Daddy put on before he blew up. I want to say it was at Howard University, but he put on a party way back, early 90s. And I don't know if a fire broke out, something happened. People got trampled. People got smushed up against the wall. People died in that party. And now, of course, it kind of died down.
But this is early 90s.
It's early 90s.
You don't got the internet to keep that shit.
Yeah, but it was a huge deal on BET when it was still BET. You know what I'm saying? Back when Teen Summit was in DC. That's what I'm saying.
Snap.
Real. Ananda Lewis. You know what I'm saying?
No, keep going. I love it.
You got Rachel doing Caribbean rhythms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got Donnie Simpson doing Video Soul. Just saying.
Donnie.
That's a real BET.
Yeah, the
real.
That's taking it back.
Y'all might know about Big Tigger, but what y'all know about Joe Claire Rap Radio? Big Laz. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's real BET.
Spend a lot of time with television.
I love BET.
I'm gonna need Michael to read a book.
I'll read a book about
not
real
a
BET.
sports page, not a magazine, but a book.
Now the funny thing is, whenever I did those reports in school,
they totally did that. I was like, man.
Whenever we had to talk about current events at school, I would always bring up a black issue because most kids would be like, "Yo, it's sports such and such and such," because it was a current event. I was like, "Yo, black people." This is what happened.
I was like,
man.
That's cool though. I feel that. There wasn't enough of that going on.
But yeah, when you go out to these events, I don't know if this is going to become a thing.
I hope it doesn't.
So just keep in mind, like, your exits, all this stuff, because if this becomes a thing, you know, I mean, I've never had it in my mind, but I've been at, like, you know, I've been to college performances. I've been to clubs, and you start thinking, like, yeah, this joint is super packed, and if there was an emergency, like, we screwed.
It's
you know what I'm saying? Or especially if, because I've been in some events and you say that you like the balcony too. If you're in the balcony, you screwed.
Right.
Because it's not like you can just get out. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had to go all the way downstairs and go through probably through like a lobby area or something, and then
I probably stayed my ass where I was. I'm like, y'all do that.
Like, y'all shoot whoever y'all got shoot.
Exactly. Because my thing is, if they ain't already upstairs, they ain't gonna get upstairs because everybody's trying to get down the stairs. I was like, well.
Oh man, but yeah, so pretty much just stay safe in those events and those situations, because if people start to try to make this a thing, it could get bad real fast.
Right. And then we gotta then they gotta be sniffed out, and you know, I'm sure what they need to do though is make there be consequences for this. I'm sure. Just like you don't yell fire at the back of a theater, I'm sure those laws, there are laws to enforce that, and those laws would apply to yelling out gunshots in a crowded concert. So, I mean, somebody had to be next to that person that wasn't that person's friend. Yeah. And so, my thing is, at least launch a search for that person so they feel heat. So people see, like, oh, they're going to go after that person. And it's not going to be funny when they drag you in there. Because should they find you, you're going to be charged with every person that got hurt in there. So you're going to have multiple counts of whatever they're going to charge you with based on how many people are sitting in that hospital. So I think if they did that and said there's real consequences to these goofball actions, y'all think that you think so little of, it's not, that's just not cool. It just really is. I don't even think how you thought that was going to be funny. What do you think people are going to do? Like, I don't understand. I was man, I wasn't that person in high school. I really wasn't that person. Like, there's a lot of, like, I wanted to run the streets and stuff and be out all night, but
just be careful. Guys.
Yeah, hurting people is not my idea of funny.
Yeah, it's not. It's like, look how funny this is. It's like, okay. It seemed like some stuff that we wouldn't do, but you never know. So guys, we have come to the end of the show. We thank you for hanging with us.
Right.
Even we got 1 thumbs down. Now you know I'm gonna have to call my boy Brett on you. You know what I'm saying? But
I think because you keep making that threat, that's why it happened.
Look, he gonna see you. All right, you know he got more power now.
We do with your thumbs now.
But to my left, I have the wonderful Marqueeda LaStar.
Hey y'all, what's up? So you can find me anywhere on the interwebs at LaStar. I got next.
Word up. Oh boy, these people are crazy.
Yeah,
look,
thumbs down me all day. I don't care. I'm gonna keep saying what I'm gonna say.
So big shout out before we bounce to Max Evans, Goldman Vision, Fox 2 Socks, Alan Lewis.
I love Fox 2 Socks name, by the way.
Yeah, Fox 2 Socks is great.
I think I see that like every other episode, but I really like your name.
Omega Dreads, Zara. I know we had some people early in the show. I said Alan Lewis. Yeah. So pretty much. Cooley High was in the house. So big shout out to everybody who rolled through. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. And of course, if y'all hit that thumbs down, I'm gonna tell Brett on y'all. You know he don't play. All right, I'm just saying. So, NERDSoul, anywhere, NERDSoul, holla at me. Subscribe to the channel. Share it out to your folks. Do what you got to do on that Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because I'll be there. And until next time, y'all stay real. And, you know, just keep your head up.
Keep your head up. You gotta keep your head up.
You gotta keep your head up. According to Suge Knight's son, he's still alive. So,
stop spreading rumors. Stop raising people to hope falsely. They're like, see, I told y'all.
I told you he was still alive. He in Cuba.
Exactly. Y'all didn't believe, but I believe.
He in Cuba. I know he in Cuba.
I was like, you almost act like he's Jesus, and like you believe in is gonna like do something to improve your life.
People be on Tupac like it ain't nothing.
It ain't nothing. I do. There is this thing that like like that, like Gambino like flipped, because I remember watching an old interview of him and he was like, I'm Biggie all day. And now in this recent interview he did in a magazine that he's all about Tupac. I'm like, no, you can stay on the East Coast. You stay on the East Coast. And then he's still knocking, like, he doesn't even have that big of a catalog, his flows, but what his influence on the culture. I'm like, nah, you can't give that like half-ass compliment and then want to rap. Nah, see, it's West Coast until we die. I'm gonna need you to get all the way back on your coast right now and rap your guy Biggie. I love Biggie. I'm not gonna bash the Notorious B.I.G. and then be like, but he still got mad flow. Even though he an East Coast cat. No, don't be doing that half dancing. Like, either you down with Tupac or you not. I like Tupac's flow. I like the fact that Tupac was like a very complicated man, because he talked about the bad, the good. He talked about issues and all that.
Spitting in cameras and stuff.
Right, he was a true artist.
Sodomizing women sometimes, but then also dropping hot songs. I'm just saying.
For real though, he was like way problematic in some ways.
Yo, Tupac was mad. He was. The MeToo movement would not be nice to Tupac. Y'all love Tupac a whole lot, but if Tupac was alive now, do you know how many video vixens would be coming out hashtagging his butt?
Right,
I'm just saying.
His butt, because he would definitely moved on to movies. Yeah, he would totally did Ice-T. He would totally did Ice-T.
Because he was already in some movies.
He was already in some movies. He was good. Exactly. He went on his Ice-T place, and then people came out with a book.
They came out with a book. Right. Like, Tupac did this to me.
Like, why Tupac? Why my guy?
Like, come on, Machiavelli.
Exactly. Come on, man, you didn't need to do all that.
So many tears, man.
So many tears.
Anyway, we love you guys. From us to you, we're just saying peace. Till next time, we out.